powerless to stop it.
Ramsgate in Kent. Every year, this port handles thousands of ships carrying passengers and goods across the channel.
But there's one type of cargo that's causing a great deal of controversy. Animals being exported live to the continent.
Protesting against exports like these is nothing new. In the mid-1990s, millions of animals left for Europe every year. But after the BSE crisis, there was a ban on the export of British beef, and coupled with the foot-and-mouth outbreak in 2001, the trade almost disappeared. Now it's starting to pick up again. The Jolene usually leaves from Ramsgate twice a month, and is the only boat in the UK that's doing it. The government enforces the law when it comes to the welfare of exported animals, which tends to be sheep and calves. Recently, they've been working alongside the RSPCA.
There's just one here that I'm a little bit worried about. He's got quite a snotty nose.
Does that mean there's something wrong with him?
It could do, not necessarily.
Vicky Dorr is one of the RSPCA's inspectors.
How difficult is it to check how healthy the animals are with just looking through the holes, though? I mean, you can't see a great deal, can you?
No, I mean, you can see more when you get higher.
And how many are going to be in there? Because it looks pretty busy.
I think there's about just over 200 in this one.
In this one alone?
Yeah.
That seems to me an incredible amount of cows to have in one truck.
Yeah.
As it turned out, the calf Vicky was worried about was okay. Ultimately, the RSPCA would like to see an end to live exports, but whilst it's going on, they want to try and make sure that the welfare of the animals is as good as possible.
Everything looks kind of normal now.
The animals can be cooped up for long periods of time. Sheep, for example, can stay in transit for up to 29 hours without being taken out of the trailers. And that's just one of the things that the protesters are angry about.
I defy anybody to come down here, to smell the smell, to hear the animals and to see for themselves just how cramped they are and say it's not cruel.
If you're going to eat meat, if you're going to slaughter animals, do it fast, do it quickly, do it in one place.
The protesters are a familiar sight to farmer Trevor Head, but he doesn't let them stop him. He makes regular trips across the channel with his sheep.
It's a way of life that I've always done. I mean, I farm and I expect to sell my stock as a higher price as I can sell.
How much extra would you get for these animals over the water then?
Probably 10% more than we can get for it in England.
But do you think this is cruel in any way to the animal?
No, not at all. Those sheep on there are loaded properly and they'll travel excellently. I've bred those animals. I'm not going to abuse them today when I've been looking after them for 12 months and I've been aiming for this day to sell them for a good price, haven't I?
So today, how long will the sheep be on your truck?
7 to 8 hours.
And how does that compare then to a journey you'd do in the UK, say if you were taking them somewhere else?
No, I regularly travel further than this. In fact, if I was allowed to do this on a normal ferry, I could do this same trip in 4.5 hours.
Trevor is taking his sheep to sell in Belgium, but there's also a market in Europe for male calves, the majority of which are used for veal. Thanet Council runs the port and they want the shipment stopped. But Ramsgate's an open port, which means that as long as the trade is legal and there's the capacity, they must accept the boat.
So why don't you just say to these guys that they can't come here?
We're not allowed to. They're legally entitled to come here. Until there's a change in legislation, either national legislation or European legislation, we're just going to have to lump it, basically.
Today, 4 lorries went on the Jolene carrying almost 1,500 animals, all bound for Calais and beyond.
Well, there she goes. She's setting off on another journey, one that the farmers would like to see happen far more often. And the protesters, well, they'd like it to be a last.
I've been protesting against live exports for nearly 20 years, and I will keep protesting until this trade ends.
We're not doing anything wrong, it's a free trade. And just that little bit of water across there is what's stopping us doing a free trade.
Thanks ever so much indeed for that, Simon.